I had this painfully and their mom yesterday.
Okay, we are
They were riding bikes.
not doing grammar today. That's the good news.
No.
And we're not even using our history book today.
That's
You can cheer, that's okay. We are practicing for the state test. That is the downside. No, it's a good thing. We got this, right? We can do this. We can do this. Okay, so some of you already started it. I already heard people. I heard people saying they've already started the test. That's good, but it's coming. If you haven't started it yet, maybe this week, maybe next week. So you're gonna do 2 parts, math and language arts.
Yeah.
Maybe science, depending on your grade.
Well,
I'm doing science.
Give me
I'm doing science. I have to do 4 days. I have to do.
Hey,
4
Simeon.
days worth.
Come on in.
Give me science and math.
We just got started. Oh, do you need a chair? Are you wanting to sit in the back? And, or there's a chair here. I don't know if anybody else is coming.
That one right there.
Okay. Oh, okay. Can you guys scoot in a little so that Simeon can get behind you? There you go.
I did it 2 weeks ago. So, and it's still.
Is this your paper?
Yeah. And it's still in our house.
And-
I haven't signed it. So there's $100 bill just not.
Okay, I'll find it and give it to my.
All you need, Simeon, is a pen or a pencil. Okay, I'll give you the paper.
I thought I came that you would get.
Okay. We're gonna cover a lot today, so I need you guys to stay focused. The language arts part of the test has 2 parts really, and it's one is reading and then answering questions about what you read, and then that's multiple choice. So you have, you click on the answer. And I told you last week, some of them are gonna be super easy and you're gonna know right away. Some of them are gonna be super hard and you may not be able to figure it out. And that's, what do you do in that case? What do you do?
You guess.
I did eeny, meeny, miny, mo twice.
As long as you don't do it for all of them, that's okay. Yes.
I would ask for help, or I would just
Throw the computer out of the window.
sound. No, I would
My
see what
teacher-
sound.
Wait. Shh.
I would guess which one that sounds the most correct.
So if you ask for help, they are not gonna help you. So you might as well not even
Well,
ask.
not family members, but like
You
if you ask your
Siri.
teacher.
I don't think they'll help you at all.
My teacher said you're not allowed to.
You don't get any help because it's a test. That's
Depends
why.
on what type of. Yeah, but do you know what's nice? My
That's
mom-
a good point. Wyatt has a good point. It depends on the type of help. If you need help with a tool on the test, or you need to help scrolling
Read.
or something like that,
Read.
but they're not gonna help you read it and they're not gonna help you understand it. You have to do that by yourself.
don't know what
Just
words
letting me
mean.
know.
You just-
Okay,
Do you know what's
yes.
nice? My mom gave me a calculator.
Oh.
No
wow.
calculator on my computer.
I didn't hear that. La 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 la.
I have a calculator.
Now that's gonna.
She said just keep it out of the screen.
That works.
Okay, guys. Shh.
I
So the other part of the language arts test is the writing test, and that's what we're going to practice today. So there's different types of essays. Usually for grades 3 through 5, it's just these 3 types: informational, explanatory, opinion, and narrative. And I'll explain what those are. But if you're in grades 6 through 9, you still might have one of these too. So informational is like the Lusitania paper you guys did. It's an actual article that you read
Information?
and you find information in the article. You build your keyword outline. Explanatory, you can kind of hear the word explain in there. It doesn't have the I, but that's what you're doing. You're explaining what something is. Explanatory, exactly. Opinion, that one's if you have a personal opinion about something. For instance, and this, I don't know if this is on the test because they don't tell us ahead of time. It's a surprise. But it could be if you're either a cat person or a dog person. Usually people like one or the other.
Neither.
Some people like both, some people like neither. So you would say cats are better than dogs because
They're the same.
blank.
I like them both.
Or
Cats are
dogs
demons.
are better than cats because blank, or neither dog or cats are good or acceptable because
Cats
blank.
are demons and
So
dogs
you're-
are not demons, but they
They're
don't-
Okay, shh. You're explaining why you have that opinion. Now, it's your opinion because it's what you think. That's what the opinion paper is about. So you would use words like, in my opinion, blank.
I hate cats.
In my opinion, cats are better than dogs.
State testing is not needed.
Okay.
If it's a question about that, yes.
First of all, did we do this last year?
Yes, because you did testing last year,
I think you
right?
had to.
I don't.
Yeah,
I did
do
too.
it.
It starts in third grade,
It
so
was-
whatever grade you're into this year.
So how come Victoria and Jeremiah aren't doing it? I mean, how come Victoria is?
It
Because
was
she's
coming
in,
next
she's
year.
in 8th grade.
She's not doing it. She's supposed to do it.
Miss Lori
They're
said she
illegal.
didn't have to.
She probably doesn't have to do the science part,
Arrested.
but there's still, she has to do language arts and math. I don't know. It's, you know what? I'm not
Isn't it-
sure. That,
isn't
I
it-
just know that all students are required to take it.
by law.
So is it,
Yes, so you're doing a writing part of the test. These are the styles of essays. The last one is narrative. That's like your story sequence chart. You guys remember that one way back?
yes.
Where you have, what's in the first box? Remember, there's 3 boxes.
Oh, A, B, and C. Oh, wait, no.
We did this, I'm pretty sure in your, I don't know.
Come to me.
Yes,
Yes.
so your characters and setting, you guys remember that?
Yes, the
Character setting,
And then clincher.
problem,
Conclude.
conflict and problem in the
Then
middle.
conclusion.
And then the last part is like the resolution. How did
Climax.
the problem get solved? And the climax, and the climax. Remember, the climax was the little guy at the top of the mountain. and it's
He's
like-
either gonna fall off the spikes or the clouds.
See?
Yeah, either
Huh?
way.
Good or bad,
He
yes.
can die either
You
way.
can die either way, but one side's a little less painful
Or you
than the
could
other
stay in
side.
one spot forever.
Yeah. the
Yeah, I
rocks-
would just stay right on the.
No, I think the
That's
rocks
called
would
a
be less
cliffhanger.
painful.
I know.
I think the rocks would be less painful because then if you fall to the clouds, you just suffer in pain once you hit the ground.
No,
And then
we-
if you
and we
hit the
told
rock,
you,
you
the
die
clouds are
like
dense, they
immediately.
catch you, it's like a soft landing.
Just go ahead.
No,
Anyway.
They're not, clouds cannot be that
It's
dense.
not real, I'm just giving you an example, okay, calm down.
Why don't you put a map?
All right. So a narrative is more like your creative writing of about what you want to write about it. They'll get a prompt in the test to write a story about something. Okay, that's what that is. Over here, we have argumentative, which means similar to opinion, where you're trying to argue someone, your point. You're making a point and you're backing up your opinion with evidence. That's what the argumentative essay is. So you would have to have actual
Questions About
evidence.
themselves.
A presidential election.
Yeah, if you want to go down that road.
That
Alright.
will take forever.
please.
That'll take forever.
Explanatory, and that's already here next to this one, informational. So today we're going to practice that one. And then I'm going to assign a homework assignment this week with another practice essay. But I want you to know, and you're hearing it from me, that if you're taking the test this week, which I know will be 2 or 3 days out of the week, and it's a lot of hours, right? And you're pretty tired when you're done with it.
I actually finished. mine in
If
10
your parent wants you to pause or take a break from my homework, that's okay with me on the weeks of test. But you have to tell me through text or email or some way to let me know, Mrs. Cisneros, or you can have your mom actually do it and
I
say,
failed.
we're taking a break this week. No, but
mine's
I
actually-
don't want to pile on too much homework if you're doing the test. So yes, Rebecca.
So you are gonna be like keeping track of this?
No. You wouldn't be
She's
on the
gonna be-
test.
She's gonna be with binoculars.
No,
looking in
I'm
through
just
your
letting you know.
Did
Did I give you 2? I think I gave you 2.
Bing.
I hate all that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about sleeping and napping. I know, see, I knew you'd love it.
Mine is actually.
I'm gonna do napping right now.
At least 10 hours a day.
I'm actually gonna finish all of my tests in 20 minutes. Because today I did both math tests in 10 minutes, each 5 minutes. Yeah,
No, it's my writing in 20 minutes.
So it's actually not a lot of hours, it's actually 20 minutes.
That doesn't mean you're doing a great job though, so you might wanna slow down a little bit because. Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. This is going to be an informational / explanatory paper about sleeping and napping, which I know you guys like, so we're gonna get to talk about
Too long,
that.
you can do it right.
Hey, John.
18 hours a day?
On your,
Those are-
when you sit down to take the writing part of the test, you're gonna get scratch paper, just like you guys have in front of you.
I use a whiteboard.
I'm gonna draw
Yeah, all
my
stuff.
paper. I would not use a whiteboard only because you might not have enough room, and then if you have to erase it, then you're gonna forget what you
I'll
wrote.
flip it. The other
No,
side.
I have a big
use
one.
lined paper.
I have a big whiteboard.
Hold on, shh, everybody just needs to listen. Where your name goes, we did this last week. Go ahead and put dress ups. Remember how we did that? Where your name goes, put that there. And go ahead and just tell me what are some of your dress ups that you have on your checklist? What do you have on your checklist? Nico? Adjective?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so quality adjective,
quality
yep,
Adjective.
What happened?
I know you did.
Adjective.
Stronger.
Ethier,
We write these.
strong verb.
We write these, right?
Wait,
You can just
we-
say them, you don't have to raise your hand, you can just say
We
them.
write these?
Yes.
Because clause.
Hold on.
Again.
Hold on. It's because you guys are just like talking over each other, so some of you are not understanding what to do.
Because clause.
You're putting dress ups at the top of your page where you normally put your name. And now we're making a list of your checklist
Because
because
Yes.
clause, I heard that.
www.asia.com.
Good. Not the .com part, but you're right about that part.
Ups.
It does sound like a .com. www.asia. Anything else?
Dot B.
Well, since we have because here, we're not gonna put a .b. there.
Boo.
It's all Rebecca.
Ups.
Who, which?
Oh, yeah.
L.I. adverb.
Yes.
A.D. James.
6, that's all of them.
S verb. Because I don't.
I should use this today. I used my little cheat sheet today.
Oh, good. I want you to put, I know I'm off my
You have a
paper
cheat
here, but in the margin, put 3 little boxes next to each one of those drops. What you're doing is making your own checklist. You are making your own checklist because you're only allowed to have blank paper. So you might as well just create your own checklist here.
Right, we can't make our own notes and then just bring them.
You can't do that. You have to start with blank paper only.
Why do we call them ly adverbs? Or just because it could just be almost all lys or adverbs.
What happens if I
So
just-
some adverbs don't have ly, but this particular dress up does require ly adverb.
Yeah.
And to help you remember too.
What happens if I just take
You could
notes
just say
with invisible ink? Just saying.
No. You could, if just putting ly is helping you, that's fine. You don't have to write, write it all out in details. Yes.
I did it anyway.
Saw a video of somebody doing that where they used a white ink color and it was like a 500 paragraph essay. 500 word
It's just
essay.
a paragraph one.
Oh, no.
Paragraph
I say
essay.
paragraph, correct myself, but, he just put, it looks like enough, so he just puts it on white font and he just puts a bunch of.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that like in the gaps, he just goes up. And then
Oh
he
my
just- And then he
gosh.
just crosses over.
Do you guys have
And
any
then he
openers?
highlights
on your
it and then
checklist?
turns it
Openers,
white.
yes, we do have openers.
What is your
It's
openers?
such a cheat.
Prepositional
It's
openers.
so smart though.
Ooh,
Prepositional. What else, Nico?
LY opener.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yes. And by the way, you don't need to,
And the very short sentence.
Yes.
BSS. You don't need to number these in your test, and you don't need to underline them
Oh,
on your test. These, you just want to make sure that you include them, okay? Oh, clausal is one too.
Yeah, I like the uno and dos and tres.
All right, put your boxes next to these. I know this seems like a lot of work, but this is gonna help you when you
Why do
get
we need
to,
boxes?
just for something for you to check.
3 paragraphs.
Yes, and you are creating your own checklist.
Well, we
If you
can't
don't
use
need the
this.
boxes,
I
John,
don't-
you can just use check marks next to them, but make sure you have 3 check marks. This is just a visual for you to go, okay, here's my checklist. I gotta make sure to include all this stuff. Am I ready?
Okay, 1.
Okay.
I can zoom out.
It's not
On the
working.
back, once you have those written down, turn your note page to the back side. And this is where we're gonna build our keyword outline to prepare. Hello, Miles, you can grab a chair behind that door right there.
Here.
Can everybody shift that way so that Miles can sit over here by Wyatt? There we go. You don't need your books today, you just need lined paper. We're practicing at that test today. Obviously, this is gonna all be on the computer, so you're gonna have to scroll through things. But I printed it just so it's easier for everybody. Oh, on the back. Okay, let's build a keyword outline. You're gonna do Roman numeral 1, 4, 5, Roman numeral 2. Oh, don't forget that word clincher. You can put this on the back or on another piece of paper. Either way. 3, 4, 5. Clincher. I'll move in a second. Roman numeral 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and clincher.
I'll do my best to not follow these instructions. Oh, God, I was doing probably.
That's called sarcasm.
Probably.
No, don't say it out loud. Quiet, you will be fine.
I will not.
I will not forget. That's
I
the way.
will 100% forget.
No,
I might forget.
go ahead and write clincher on there somewhere so that you can remember you're gonna include that too.
Also might lose this paper. On purpose.
Throw it away.
Whoever knows my brother knows that's true. He lost his other paper.
Someone
It's in
in my
my
class
room.
always.
Okay.
Or not.
This is an example. This is not what you're gonna actually get on your test. This is an example of what you might get
What happens if
for
we do get it?
explanatory. What happens if what?
If we do get it?
Then you're
Copy
great.
and
You got it.
Cheat sheet. folks.
On the front page at the top says student directions, napping, explanatory, performance, task. Look under
Napping.
task. I'm gonna do the reading, you guys just follow along. There has been much discussion in the news recently about the role of sleep and the role of napping. How many hours of sleep is enough? What is too much sleep? What is too little sleep? How do naps fit into sleep cycles? The Journalism Club advisor has asked you to research the roles of sleep and napping. As part of your research, you have found 3 sources about sleep and napping. After you have reviewed these sources, you will answer some questions about them, briefly scan the sources and the questions that follow, then go back and read the sources carefully so you will have the information you need to answer the questions and complete the research. You may click on the global notes button. I do not recommend that because you have lined paper. This is 100 times better, in my opinion, to take notes on because you can find them easily. They're right in front of you. And it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And then you may also use scratch paper, which is what that is.
Yes.
Skip, it says part 2, you will write an explanatory article on a topic related to the sources. So there's 2 parts to this. Like I said earlier, one part is you read the articles and you answer questions about the articles. The second part is actually the writing part, and that's what we're gonna practice.
This looks like what I had to do in math today.
So skip to the second to the last page really quick, where it says part 2. Not the last page, but the one right before that.
Part 2, season.
See part 2?
No,
Yeah. Wait.
I don't
there's
see
two or
part
two?
Part 2,
I don't see part 2.
the second to the last page.
Finished.
See, this is.
Oh, no.
Right here.
Sleeping is good sometimes.
Found it.
This page.
Did it.
Part 2, yep,
Part 2, season 8.
part 2. Shh. This is the writing part. It says you will now review your notes and sources, and it says to plan, draft, revise, and edit. That's what you're doing here for your keyword outline, which you haven't done yet. That's what you're gonna do. You may use your notes and refer to the sources. Now read your assignment and the information about how your writing will be scored, then begin your work. So the first step, when you sit down to do the writing test, is set up your checklist that you have in your head. Okay, if you only remember 3 of them, that's okay. Try to remember them all, but don't stress over that. Just put down what you remember. And then you're gonna find out what do they want you to write about. Go to the question. You can, because somebody said it earlier, you can go back and forth in the test. You can go back, or forward. And that's okay to do that. You might just even have to scroll. It'll be easy. And find out what you're supposed to write about. So you see where it says your assignment? That's what you're gonna look for, your assignment, okay? It says, now that you have completed research on the topic of sleep, the Journalism Club advisor has asked you to write an explanatory article about sleep and naps for the next issue of the school newspaper. The audience for your article will be other students, teachers, and parents. Using more than one source, develop a thesis/controlling idea. I'm going to tell you what that is in a second, so don't worry. To explain about sleep and naps. Once you have a thesis controlling idea, select the most relevant information from more than one source to support your thesis/controlling idea. Then write a multi-paragraph explanatory article explaining your thesis/controlling idea. Clearly organize your article and elaborate your ideas. Unless quoting directly from the sources, use your own words. Be sure to reference the source title or number when quoting or paraphrasing details or facts from the sources. And then it tells you how they score it. You don't need to read that part. It's just telling you how they're going to score it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're basically going to need to know what your assignment is. You're writing about sleeping and napping. Now, a thesis statement is a statement about sleeping and napping. It could be something as simple as sleeping and napping are important, right? Because
Yep,
they are.
sleeping is good sometimes. And
You don't need to start writing on that. That's just there.
doing it anyway.
Okay.
Okay, what's sleep?
So you might say something about, after reading it, you might come up with a good thesis statement about the importance of sleeping and napping. Okay, and we're gonna learn about that, yes. But that's your main subject. You know how we used to talk about that, like Lusitania was your subject, and then what about the Lusitania was your topics, okay?
I had so many
For this,
subjects.
your subject is the importance of napping and sleeping. Your topics are gonna be probably sleeping and napping, and maybe one more thing down here, which we'll find out as we read.
Well, I wanna take a nap.
I know, it's gonna make you sleepy. Go back to the beginning, the very first page. Now we're gonna start reading. How much sleep is enough is at the bottom of that front page. That's the first article, okay? We're talking about sleeping. And I'm gonna just read this. It says the amount of sleep you need each day will change over the course of your life. Although sleep needs vary from person to person, the chart below shows general recommendations for different age groups. And there they are. Newborns need 16 to 18 hours a day.
Lucky. That's like a cat.
Preschool age children, 11 to 12 hours a day. School-aged children, at least
Wait,
10
how-
hours
how old
a
are they?
day.
How
It's 7
how
to
old are
8.
schools?
School age is anywhere between kindergarten and teenager years.
It's 7 to 8 sleep.
Next page. Hold on.
7 to 8.
Teens need 9 to 10 hours a day, and adults, including the elderly, only need 7 to 8 hours a day.
No, they don't all have more.
It's like
My
6
grandma-
hours a
I
day.
get a
My
dog.
because I
But
work,
then I get like
grandma-
7 hours.
Should come
a
in.
day.
This is just a chart telling you what's ideal. I mean, of course, we would love to have that much sleep, but like you said, our schedules
Can I
get
get
busy.
No, I stay late.
Oh, I think that's 16.
Looking ahead, you can see source 2 down here. It's talking about napping. So source 1 is talking about sleeping. Napping is different, even though you're sleeping while you're napping, but it's different.
How is sleeping and napping different?
We're gonna learn about that.
Why does it
Okay,
say
okay,
napping?
stop talking, stop talking. I'm gonna read this next part. Try not to make comments, just listen, okay? Because you're gonna listen for some things that you're gonna write down here, which we will in a minute. If you routinely lose sleep or choose to sleep less than needed, the sleep loss adds up. The total sleep lost is called your sleep debt. For example, if you lose 2 hours of sleep each night, you'll have a sleep debt of 14 hours after a week. Some people nap as a way to deal with sleepiness. Naps may provide a short-term boost in alertness and performance. However, napping doesn't provide all the other benefits of nighttime sleep. Thus, you can't really make up for lost sleep. Some people sleep more on their days off than on work days. They also go to bed later and get up later on days off. Sleeping more on days off might be a sign that you aren't getting enough sleep. Although extra sleep on days off might help you feel better, it can upset your body's sleep-wake rhythm. Bad sleep habits and long-term sleep loss will affect your health. If you're worried about whether you're getting enough sleep, try using a sleep diary for a couple of weeks. Write down how much you sleep each night, how alert and rested you feel in the morning, and how sleepy you feel during the day. Sleeping when your body is ready to sleep is also very important. Sleep deficiency can affect people when they sleep the total number of hours recommended for their age group. Even when they sleep the total number of hours. For example, people whose sleep is out of sync with their body clocks, such as shift workers, or is routinely interrupted, such as caregivers or emergency responders, might need to pay special attention to their sleep needs. How much sleep is enough? That's just the reference down there. That last little part is where they got their information. That's the website. That's a bibliography. Exactly. Very good. Okay, so obviously our first paragraph is going to match that first article. So rather than, doing source A, source B, source C, and mixing them up, we're just going to do your sources here. So source A or 1 is going to be that first source. This is source 2. This is source 3. So sleeping, go ahead and next to Roman numeral 1 on your notes. The first article was about sleeping. We got space for 2 more words here. And if you look back on that article, it's talking about like age and recommendations for sleeping. So you can put 2 words next to sleeping, whatever you want to put on your outline. It could be age, amount, meaning amount of sleep. You could put age, amount. And you could put Z's to represent sleep. If you want on your keyword outline. You can put important, routine. So come up with 2 words based on what we just read to put with sleeping here to kind of show an overview of how the importance of sleeping. That makes sense? Sleeping, yeah.
Just
Don't sleep right now, but just talking about it.
I want to sleep.
Me too. But if I can't, you can't.
I read.
That's not true.
All right, did you guys come up with 2 extra words there for your outlines? What did you get, Ellie, for yours? Okay, good. Anybody have anything different than that? What do you have?
Add sleeping age and.
Good.
Same thing.
Okay, good. Everybody got 3 words on number 1, Roman numeral 1? Okay, good. And then I want to give you a few minutes right now to just look through that information we just read and put down 3 keywords. You have to do 1 through 3, 4 and 5 is optional for now because we have class time and we don't want to spend too much time on this right now.
Is it everybody 1 word or 2 words?
Everybody is 1 word. Good question. And by the way, this is not a spelling test, so you might have trouble with the spelling. That's okay. Just sound it out. They want to see how you put together sentences, so that's the main thing.
16. I'm getting, can I go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Don't take.
So just use that first article to take down some keywords for 1, 2, and 3.
Body, not like 1, 2, and 3, you could do the newborns and all that.
You could, but that doesn't really give bunch of information. You would need other information too that you find in there about like there's a lot of information. So the reason why I'm only having you do 3 right now is because of class time, but on the test, you would do all 5. Okay,
Oh, 200.
all 200, okay. No.
Aw.
Good try.
Good try. A for effort. Just kidding.
No Z for effort.
Let's go. So go ahead and look in the article, find those keywords to support sleeping and your amount, depending on your age, and the importance of sleeping. Did you already write it down?
I wrote down.
You're gonna write here
Oh.
too. Go all the way to 3. So obviously on the test, you'll need to scroll through the article. You won't have it in front of you like this, so just remember, you can do that. You can scroll all around in there. Yes,
Also do this and just like keep it home with it.
yes, you can. Your homework will be a different topic though, or a different subject.
Probably.
So we're just practicing the outline today for this. You don't have to write this later. I'm just practicing.
I always fall asleep on.
Right, I know. All right, so finish up the one you're on,
Especially if you're doing it at 9.
yeah, at night for sure.
Not morning, you not.
Okay, the next article is down here, source number 2. It says this article appeared in the Consumer Health magazine and uses historical accounts, career-specific research, and current attitudes to discuss napping. So next to Roman numeral 2, let's put napping. And we don't know yet what we're gonna put here, but this is when you can jot down your keywords as I read this. If you're doing the test, when you're doing the test, you can pause and write down if something stands out to you like, oh, that's interesting, and you want to include that. It's okay to do it while you're reading it, okay? Now that we know what we're writing about. This is super interesting. I did not know this. So it says the secret truth about napping. So you could even put secret truth, or you can put benefits.
No benefits?
It says napping only for kids. In general, Americans regard napping as an unproductive habit. They think that only little children should take naps. However, there is evidence that napping can benefit people of all ages. So you could put benefit all ages. And by the way, if you have to use 4 words on your outline, it's okay, because this is for the test, right? Stick to 3 if you can, if you need 4.
What about?
It doesn't matter. They don't, no one's watching you.
No one's watching you, so you do, but
That's
you don't want to
what
do more than 5 because then you might be tempted to plagiarize, which we talked about before. You don't want to use too many of the same words for one fact, because then it looks like you're copying, so.
When we do.
Don't go past
5
4.
words on
Because
it,
then you'll get kicked
4
out
is
of
a
college.
Yes, if you plagiarize, that's true.
you won't get
Okay.
$1.
Go down here where it says famous nappers. Did you know this? Many famous historical figures have been nappers. American presidents John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton all took frequent naps to help them deal with the pressures of leading a powerful nation.
President's neck.
Napoleon Bonaparte, a French emperor, often gave rousing speeches at a moment's notice. Perhaps this was due to his habit of taking frequent naps. Winston Churchill, who helped lead the Allied powers to victory during World War II, slept for at least an hour every afternoon. He stated that a nap would could renew a person's energy. Okay, put your hand down for now. I'm gonna finish reading.
30 minutes is better.
It's interesting.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And I'm learning about Napoleon Bonaparte
Oh.
in history.
Oh, that's good. That's
Well, I learned about him last week. I'm on a history club this week. So.
turn the
Did
page.
you nap?
Other famous historical nappers include the brilliant scientist Albert Einstein and the world-changing inventor Thomas Edison.
I have
Testing.
no clue.
The
Thomas Edison, he created the light bulb. Did you know that?
The amazing artist Leonardo da Vinci. Are you reading with me? Turn the page. Leonardo da Vinci, where am I? Also took naps. They all had unusual sleep patterns that allowed them to work in a focused and creative way. Maybe if Edison had skipped his naps, he would have never invented the light bulb. Maybe Leonardo would have been too sleepy to paint the Mona Lisa. And then it says naps for certain careers. Scientific studies show the benefits that naps can provide for individuals with unusual work schedules. Examples include astronauts and certain medical personnel. The human body operates according to an internal clock. This clock operates in relation to the Earth's pattern of darkness at night and bright light during the day. When a person's internal clock is in sync with her or his habits, the person can most likely sleep well at night and remain awake and alert all day. But if the person's job makes for interrupted sleep or sleep at odd hours, the internal clock can become confused. Then the person has trouble getting enough sleep. Astronauts traveling in space are not exposed to regular patterns of light and darkness. Did you know that?
It's always dark.
As a result, astronauts average 2 hours less sleep than usual during every night they spend in space. They often have trouble concentrating. They also become grumpy. NASA decided to study whether astronauts should take naps. They did research with volunteers. The researchers found that napping improved memory, but not alertness. NASA researchers also concluded that longer naps worked better than shorter ones. Mark Rosekind of NASA, who conducted the research, stated that even a 26-minute nap boosted a pilot's mental performance by 34%. And by the way, if you want to include quotes like that, you can. You just have to reference it.
I thought you said
Like you have to reference it, otherwise it's plagiarism. If you say
Yeah,
Mark
quotes to it.
Mark Rosekind of NASA stated, comma, quote, then
I thought you said Mark Rober.
oh,
Mark Rover said.
even a 26-minute nap, so you could include something like that. As you're reading, you're like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing to include. There should be, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is a highlight button on the test. Is there? The ones that have done it already?
I don't remember.
I think
don't
you
think
can use
so.
a highlighter. Miles says yes. So I recommend you sit down with your parent before you do the writing test and look at all the tools with them. See, play around with it, see what you guys have to use there. Because then you can highlight that quote for you to go back to later to go, yeah, I want to use that in the paper somewhere. Okay, a 45-minute nap gave roughly the same mental boost, but the boost lasted more than 6 hours. Okay, doctors in training, known as residents, work very long hours. As a result, they are often sleep deprived.
Where are you at?
I am right here where it says doctors, under
Okay.
naps for certain careers. Emergency room doctors working at night also have problems sleeping. Sleep experts recommend that these health workers take short naps on the job. So that could be one, like health workers, short naps. Like they need short naps on the job. On the job. That's crazy, huh? You have to ask permission. Don't just take a nap on the job.
Yeah, in the break room.
Yeah.
Go in and everyone's just.
Yeah. A team of researchers led by David Dings, I think is how you say his name, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, found that letting subjects nap for as little as 24 minutes improved their mental performance. So even short naps can reduce the number of mistakes a tired person makes. The main takeaway seems to be that a deep sleep, whether it is nighttime sleep or daytime sleep, daytime nap, primes the brain to function at a higher level, allowing us to come up with better ideas, find solutions to puzzles more quickly, and identify patterns faster and recall information more accurately. So now I'm here where it says siesta tradition. That's where I'm at now.
Yes.
This is a long article. Some of them are going to be long. That's okay. Take your time with it. Just get through it, absorb it, and then you'll know what information you want to put in your outline from
Already
that.
finished napping.
Siesta tradition. There is this word in Spanish language, the Spanish language, to describe the habit of taking a nap in the mid-afternoon, siesta. However, taking a midday nap is common not only in Spain, but it is also common in Greece, where people traditionally take a break in the middle of the day. They eat a large meal and then take a nap. I'm like, man, that sounds nice. Eat a big old meal and then go to bed.
Like
It is-
we only go to bed now.
It is not the big noontime meal that makes the Greeks sleepy. Evidence suggests that people in general become drowsy between 2:00 p.m. and 4:00 p.m. In fast-paced America, workers and students usually fight to stay awake during this so-called nap zone.
I have sports after that.
What were you gonna say?
My dad, or not my dad.
That's
my
right here where you are.
You need to
My
take a
grandma-
nap now.
My grandpa and grandma do that all the time.
Yeah, older people do take a lot more naps.
Every
Yeah,
time I
I'm
go
sorry.
to their house, they're always like, "Who wants to take a nap?" And it's so.
Who wants to take a nap? It's so annoying.
I mean,
Okay.
Who wants to watch
Okay, I'm gonna keep
movies?
going. I'm down here toward the bottom of the page, if you're wondering where I'm at.
Okay.
After a nap, people tend to be happier and more alert. They do better work and avoid mistakes. Nappers may even have a better long-term health than non-nappers. In 2007, a study by Harvard School of Public Health discovered that people who took 30-minute naps at least 3 times a week are 37% less likely to die of heart disease.
Yeah.
So there's a
I
reason
almost
to
died
take
of heart
naps.
disease.
I
No.
feel bad for those people who didn't take the 30-minute nap.
Exactly.
Who have heart disease.
Furthermore, this study found that even people who napped for less than 30 minutes or napped only 1 or 2 times per week were 12% less likely to die from heart disease. In 2011 study, researchers at the Allegheny College found that napping was a factor in lowering blood pressure after mental stress. The people in the study who took a daily 45-minute nap on average had lower blood pressure after taking a mental stress test than those who did not have a nap or didn't have a nap.
No, what happens if they take an hour nap? Would they be 100%?
Good question. So that could be something you write down, like lowering blood pressure and less likely to die from heart attack, if you want to write down those reasons for
I don't
taking a
want a
nap.
heart attack, Austin.
Finding time to sleep. I'm at the bottom here. hold on, Rebecca. But finding time to sleep or nap can be challenging. Students involved in sports or extracurricular activities after school aren't often able to find time to nap before evening sleep time. And finding places to nap during the day at school is challenging. Go ahead and put your hand out for a second. After Anton Anderson, an English teacher at Greenwich, Connecticut High School, decided to do something to help the waves of weary teens as he was seeing every day. In 1998, he found the Power Napping Club.
Can I join?
Power Napping Club,
I want to join that club.
which allows students to nap for about 20 minutes at the end of the day before going on to the extracurricular activities. Its motto, and it says in Latin there, Veni, Vidi, Dormici. It's
Veni, Vidi,
Latin for
Dormici.
I came, I saw, I slept. So there you go, another great quote if you wanted to include something like that.
Yep, I need that.
There's actually
Like,
a,
When I go to
I
college,
saw-
I'm
I
gonna
saw.
make that club. I'm gonna
There's
make the power napping club.
there's
You
a
won.
school somewhere that one of the classes is just you take a nap.
See, that would be, I'd like to
I
teach
was in
that
a class
class.
like-
And
Napping
also,
class.
and also they get to
Get
learn
comfy.
what they actually want. They don't even have to show up on time. They can like leave during the
Listen
day.
to some class.
Okay, let's come back to, at the very bottom, yes, Rebecca, I know. you
Oh,
say something.
So first of all, at the last like paragraph of naps for certain or siesta position.
Yeah,
I'm always grumpy when I wake up.
So is
Oh.
my sister.
And then
She's like this.
but
Her hair is like.
yeah, and then what was it?
Sleeping, napping.
Oh, yes.
Sleeping
We
nap.
used to do a CC, classical conversations that, we would have a class where we just take naps and no one could ever sleep. We were
Wow.
restless.
look at the very, very bottom, the Power Napping Club co-president emphasizes the boost that naps provide. Obviously, it's no substitute for sleep, but I definitely feel more relaxed afterwards, she says, okay.
Yes.
And the next page is all the bibliography for
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
So take a minute. I saw some of you writing stuff down. If you haven't finished this, go ahead and write down a couple others on there if you need to.
Art did it.
Good,
Finish.
okay. Did you guys already get it in the
I
back?
want to start a power napping club.
Let's go around if you finish. If you didn't finish, go ahead and start writing some facts
After
from
the
that
club, who
one.
wants to go in that room and
Maybe you'll
sleep?
use this article.
For 30 minutes.
How about, Miles, what's one of the facts you wrote down? Keywords.
I did,
What were you doing?
historic figures take naps.
Good, okay.
President naps.
How about Ellie, what did you have? What's one of your facts?
I did Mark Rosekind, NASA, in like head quotes, 26 minutes nap, mental boost.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. And if you quote him, or if you quote somebody, you can actually go back and actually copy exactly what the quote is, as long as you tell who said it. But that's good, that's good. How about Nico? What's one of your facts?
I just wrote down one. I wasn't writing them down.
Oh, okay,
I
I'll
wrote
let
them
you keep
down.
going. How about
You
you, Ethier? Do you
copy.
have some?
Historical figures numbers.
Okay. Did you already say yours? Ethan,
I
I mean Wyatt?
Less likely heart and then like a little Z.
Oh, yeah, good. I like it. John?
Ours, president's nap.
President's nap.
I wrote something like that. Presidents like nap.
President's
But
nap.
now you don't want to imply that all presidents nap, but there are certain ones, so you can go back as you're
I'll write
typing
some presidents nap.
some.
3 of the 40-something presidents.
How about you, Owen? What's one fact you wrote down?
Which,
Presidents takes naps.
Presidents take that. Now, don't just say all presidents, like I just said, you gotta make sure to name the ones.
Wait, how many presidents are there? Presidents are there? Like 47?
Yes.
almost 50,
Trump is number 47.
almost 50.
And number
45.
3.
And 43.
which is very, I think it's the only time that's ever happened like that.
Well, considering that presidents take naps, one
George Washington
president
ran
is
for
literally
Ryan twice.
Sleepy Joe.
But
So
with a president, because Biden was in the middle, so I think it's the first time it's happened where.
No, there's one other, I forgot his name. But there's one other one.
it's like seeing.
It's one of the first ones, like probably.
All right,
third.
we gotta keep going. If you didn't get a chance to write down all your facts, that's okay. This is just for practice. There's one more article at the back. Ask the sleep doctor. Find
I
that
don't
one.
want a sleep doctor. I don't want a sleep doctor.
This is, and we are running out of time, but this one's basically a letter from a person to the doctor. It starts with, "Dear Dr. Bessler, I'm a 12-year-old middle school student who usually gets about 8 hours of sleep a night. I often feel tired when I get home from school at 3:30, and I want to be alert and energetic in the evening so I can focus on all of my homework. However, when I tried taking a nap, I slept for 2 or 3 hours. I don't know if that's ever happened to you before.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah,
wake
I
up
slept for 6 hours.
groggy, what can I do so I have more energy in the evening? Because it's possible to sleep too long during the middle of the day.
I put a
Like,
time.
I took
hard to
I
get.
was
Okay,
taking. And then I took a 6-hour nap.
And then it goes on. I'm gonna kind of skim through some of this, but obviously if you're doing the test, you're gonna read every word because you need to make sure you read it. And he's talking about 85% of animals sleep in short periods throughout the day. He's talking about taking short naps. He recommends 24 minutes naps. And then on the next page, I recommend that if you decide to take a nap, you should do it right after you get home from school. Set a timer for 24 minutes so that you don't oversleep. You will most likely wake up refreshed and have more energy to focus on your homework in the evening. So that one was a lot shorter and I skimmed part of it. So you would just find some facts about that. And then, so your Roman numeral 3 is going to be doctor recommendation.
Doctor sleep.
Dr.
Dr.
Seuss.
Sleep.
Doctor recommendation, okay? And then you're gonna talk about some facts that he states in his letter to the person or patient. Yes, Owen.
So I took a nap and I thought it was gonna be like a 20-minute nap. I woke up, it was 6:30 and I fell asleep at 12 and I was like, oh, my 20-minute nap's over. It's 6:30. It was like the 6-hour nap.
Go ahead and put introduction up here. And then at the very bottom, I'm out of room, or you can use the back, put conclusion. Because what you guys just completed is the body part of your essay. If they do want you to do a 5-paragraph essay, I'm just telling you, okay? The introduction, remember, has an attention getter. So you can pick a quote and start with a quote.
That's what I did for.
Or you can ask a question like, are you getting enough sleep? Question mark, that would be going. Or you start with a VSS.
Probably.
Sleep is awesome. There you go. That's a short. Sleep is important.
Necessary.
Yeah, that's better than.
That's
Sleep
what
is
we have.
necessary. That's not a full sentence. It has to have a verb and a subject in it. Okay, shh. And then remember, in your introduction, you're stating your 3 topics here: sleeping, napping, and doctor recommendations. So you would list those in your introduction. And then in your conclusion, remember we talk about the most significant thing. Right next to conclusion, in parentheses, put most significant. The most significant thing about making sure you have enough sleep is what?
Awesome.
Well, that's not a good significant reason. It's better for your health. It
You
helps
don't
your
die.
brain, so you don't die. It helps your brain
If
more functioning.
if you do it, you will miss out on going to the movies.
Don't be silly in your test, okay? Because
Or
they're not even gonna wanna read
or
that.
you made it to the movies and you slept at the movies. And
No,
missed
that's
the
my
movies.
dad.
All right, so then you restate those 3 things again in your conclusion. You guys know the
Wait, we're not
pattern.
ready? This is just like.
I do want you to write down conclusion and then most significant. Oops.
Wait, so this is our homework.
No, this
Oh
is
my
just
goodness.
free. This is how you're gonna do your notes on your
But
test.
this is
This
just
is practice,
practicing.
practice. Your homework will be another assignment.
Oh.
So check Google Classroom. It's gonna be another practice and that one you will type it out. Okay?
Is it five?
I'm gonna give you 3 paragraphs for that. Yes.
Am I allowed to read this paper?
Yes, you are for sure. Absolutely.
Do we have?
I would love to
we
read it.
Doing tests this week?
If you're doing tests this week, it's up to your parent, whoever does your homeschooling. I'm not gonna let you decide, because obviously you're not gonna wanna do my homework. It has to be up to whoever's doing your schooling. Make sure to have them message me though, to say, I'm just letting you know, we're skipping this week's assignment because we have testing, something like that. Yes. Here, Miles.
What if I do both of them?
You can do both of them if you have the time, absolutely. I'm not gonna say no to that.
So could I, if it's okay with mom, could I skip this week and just catch up on last week's?
If it's okay with your mom, yes, I'm okay with that. All right, so no grammar this week, though. That's the good news. You can take a break from grammar. You're taking a break from your history book. We're just doing some practice. We'll get back on track next week. So you guys are done. Good job. Take all this home. Yes, you should keep it to refer back to set up your paper for your homework and.